Canary Street Press and HarlequinAudio present River Legacy by B.J. Daniels. Performed by Wayne Mitchell. I dedicate this final book of the Powder River series to my agent, Lisa Erbach-Vance, for believing in this story. Thanks for helping make my dreams come true. You're the best. Prologue. The explosive device fit in his jacket pocket securely as he walked toward the hangar where he would find the Gulfstream G550 waiting. Still, he unconsciously walked more carefully, knowing it was in his pocket. Would hate to trip and fall. Not that it would be a huge explosion. The nice thing about an airplane, even an expensive private jet owned by one of the richest men in the country, was that it didn't take much to bring the bird down. It was all about knowing where to place the bomb and when to detonate it. Inside the hangar, he quickly secured the bomb in place. He'd helped work on this particular jet before, since along with his side job, he was one damn good airplane mechanic as well as a pilot. Not that his boss seemed to appreciate the fact. Hell, he'd wanted to kill him the moment he met the man. When he finished, he set the timer on his phone. All it would take was pushing the button after the plane was airborne and over an isolated part of Montana on the return flight. He'd already located where outside of Billings would be the best spot for the plane to explode. There was a roadless, mountainous area directly to the southeast. It would be hard for the FAA investigators to reach it and recover any evidence. No need for any rescue operations. No one would survive the blast, let alone the crash. The dangerous part was that he would be on board the plane with the bomb from Dallas to Billings. But as long as he didn't push the button, he told himself, he'd be fine. No one wanted Forester dead more than he did. And then again, maybe there were a dozen others who would love to kill the man, he thought, looking around the unlocked empty hangar. Except he'd bet most of them didn't know how to make a bomb, let alone where to place it on an airplane for the most destruction. He'd be doing them all a favor. Phone in his pocket. Now all he had to do was wait for when the Gulfstream left Billings, Montana, for the return flight to Dallas. The flight he wouldn't be on. Chapter 1. Ryder Stafford tugged down the brim of his Stetson, keeping his head lowered as he wound through the crowd at the Billings-Logan International Airport. The name made it sound much more impressive than it was. For the largest city in Montana, the airport was small compared to others in the state. Normally, it also wasn't this busy, but apparently some politician was flying in for a rally later tonight. Usually, the only time the state saw big-name politicians was when one of them was running for president. Traffic would be terrible until Ryder got out of the city, he thought with regret. But he planned long before any rally began to be miles from here before that. He couldn't wait to get back to the Powder River Basin, where there was so little traffic it was laughable. Working his way to a window overlooking the tarmac, he worried he might have missed the plane's arrival. But his timing seemed to be perfect, he thought, as the Gulfstream G550 touched down against a blinding blue cloudless sky. If his intel was right, the man he'd come to confront would be on that plane. Tycoon Wendell Forester made it impossible to get to him personally. Even as Ryder thought it, he noticed two of the airport security standing nearby as the plane began to taxi toward the south end of the terminal, where the private hangars were. Ryder knew this might be a fool's errand. He very well might have trouble even getting close enough to the man to tell him what he needed to. Not that a couple of airport cops could dissuade him, he thought. Not at this point. A cell phone rang next to him with a tune that caught his attention.
"He just landed,"
said a young female voice after he hurriedly answered the call, cutting off the ringtone.
"No, I haven't talked to him since he texted his ultimatum. He seriously can't think he's going to force me to marry his latest hand-picked yes-man."
Ryder glanced over at her, curiosity getting the better of him. The woman on the phone looked to be close to his age, with curly red hair that looked natural, given her fair skin and jade-green eyes that rivaled his own. Her hair was pulled up into a loose ponytail. Strands of copper had escaped to frame her face, accentuating high cheekbones that made her
Sample complete. Ready to continue?